Hey there, and welcome. I'm Aruan, Community Manager at GameSmithing. In this new video series, we thought it would be really cool to cover everything that you need to know to be a successful survivor. We'll give tips and tricks, general and not so general information about specific game systems. And today, we're going to talk about one of the more quote-unquote complicated or intricate systems in the game, which are runes. The rune system has seen some changes and additions to it since the moment that it was added into the game that shifted the value of some runes to be more or less valuable, like for example a new recent addition of multi-crit, which makes going over 100% crit a lot more valuable than it was before. Runes in Soulstone Survivors is a system that was created with the intent of providing players with interesting ways to modify the gameplay based on the runes that they choose. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but what do they provide and how do I unlock them? Well, as a very clear example of how runes can modify and provide powerful bonuses, I'm going to use Singular Focus as an example here. This rune will completely change the way you choose to make builds, because it will give you the ability to pick multiple instances of the same skill, which is not normally possible. This means that you can make a dream of having 5 chromatic bolts bouncing endlessly through your screen, or having 5 extremely aggressive and disease-carrying rabbits exploding your enemies. And there are a whole lot of runes that are intended to provide you with ways to tailor your build to your liking, which is what this system is all about. Now, let's take a closer look into the runes tab in-game. We'll see that currently, and keep in mind that the game is still very much in early access, so things are all subject to change, we can see that we have quote-unquote outer layers of runes that are composed of 3 runes called Skill Affinity, Skill Mastery, and Skill Inclination. Skill Affinity will provide you with a guarantee for you to be offered skills of the type that Affinity runes relates to. For example, the skill Affinity Holy will guarantee holy skills and so on. It's really not that complicated once you think about it. Skill Mastery, on the other hand, is the more quote-unquote interesting one of the bunch. It will give you the ability to have up to 8 random active skills of the type that the runes will lead to, that you would not have access to otherwise, to be added to the pool of choices when you level up. And you can see how this opens up a lot of possibilities to build around. This means that you can now play the Spellblade with Chaos skills, for example. And Skill Inclination will help you whenever you want to boost your chances of getting whatever skill type the rune relates to. This page also has an quote-unquote inner circle, where you can find runes that will provide buffs to your selected skills or skill types and other effects as well. One could argue that these runes are probably the most powerful ones, right? Currently, a meta has developed around these inner circle runes that will allow you to make very consistent builds. As a rule of thumb, if you want to try and make some unique and, off-meta builds, following this should wield some decent results. Always take Multicast Mastery and Generalist. These will provide you with a good basis with a decent all-around damage boost, and Multicast Mastery is extremely useful in pretty much any build, since the game is based around how fast you can kill things, which by the way also helps you along the run, because the HP scaling of bosses you fight is also based on how fast they spawn in, meaning that the boss HP is tied to time alive in seconds, rounded up to the next 10, and some other things, such as endless scaling, which wave it is, and the curse scaling. And also, who doesn't like seeing the game put out 300,000 skills per second and taking the frame rate to 0.5, right? One cool thing to know about runes is that they are all multiplicative and with each other as well. By following this one golden rule, you can then tailor your other choices towards a more specific build of your choosing. Upon opening up the game for the first time and creating your first save file, you'll notice that the runes tab will be locked, and on the bottom right here, you will see a little bar that says 0 out of 0. This is your runic power, and it is the currency that you will use to exchange for the power that the runes provide you. In the endgame, you will have access to up to 10 runic power, and you unlock these through the skill tree and different challenges proposed by the achievements tab over here. Some of which can be 500,000 enemies, for example, being a map with a certain amount of curses enabled, and so on. Once you unlock your first set of runic powers, you will then be able to use them to pay for the runic cost of the runes you want to use. Yep, that's right. Just like in real life, every rune has a cost tied to it, and they vary. If we take a closer look into these runes, we'll notice a pattern building up here. The green runes will cost you 1 runic power, which is excellent for filling up a slot or for cost effectiveness. Then comes the blue runes, which will cost you 2 runic power, the purple ones, which are 3 each, and the legendary runes, which we currently have only 2 of, Singular Focus costing 5 runic power, and Synergetic, which costs 4, an exception to the pattern we've seen so far. You should now have a pretty clear understanding of how runes work to start making use of them. Once you really start to dig into the system, it is really not that complicated, and it is quite fun to mess around with. You can expect a lot more to come to Soulstone Survivors in the future, and we are really excited to share this with you all and to see what you guys can come up with in the following upcoming updates to the game. So, keep an eye out for some sneak peeks. Good luck and have fun, survivors. To the next one.